Alright, so today I'm back with yet another chapter review, and today we will go over chapter 292, which is a bit of a crazy one, as it's almost like a battle royale in front of PXG's goal, as everyone is going for each other's throats. However, we are also getting a new awakening in this chapter, but I don't want to say any more, so you will just have to sit back and watch to find out what happens. Anyway, please leave a like and a comment as well as join the Discord, but anyway, with that out of the way, let's get into it. So for chapter 292, we get right into the action as we see Kaiser completely bashing his body into Rin's. We then see Kaiser's face where he looks super annoyed while thinking that he knew that Rin was going to come here and says that he's gone all in on trying to stop them. Kaiser takes his hand before Rin's body, and Rin does the same to Kaiser to try and stop each other a bit. Kaiser is still a bit mad at Rin for trying to destroy his coordination along with Isagi, and he calls Rin a monster of destruction, but this makes it glass clear for Kaiser that to be able to score a goal, they have to be able to overcome his greed. Right then, Isagi runs up on Kaiser's left side, and Kaiser looks over and thinks that if Rin cuts off his coordination with Isagi, then it's over for good. So to try and prevent that, Kaiser needs to stay aware of his position relative to the last passer. After that, we see Isagi completely making a sprint for it as he runs before them. Kaiser thinks that this is just what they need, and with a cross run, they'll be able to confuse Rin and disrupt his field of vision, saying that the best thing that they can do is head towards the goal and force him into choosing one of them to destroy. After that, Rin has gotten in the middle of them, and we can see that Kaiser and Isagi are beginning to start sprinting diagonally. Anyway, Kaiser says that luck will come to whoever he doesn't choose, and that they are feeling the same conclusion even without words. Kaiser looks over to Isagi and thinks that they are thinking on the exact same level. After that, we see Isagi, who's completely locked in, and even has some sort of lightning come out of his eyes, as Kaiser says that Isagi is in the ideal spot. But he then realizes that this is just football with Isagi after all, as he is a literal goat, saying that it's fascinating, but not only that, as he says that, it's extremely fun. After that, their plan gets into action as Kaiser and Isagi starts to cross-run with each other, which we can see leaves Rin a bit confused on what he should do. We then see Kaiser looking extremely determined with his metavision eyes out, as he says that with this one attack, he will become the emperor of the new dimension, which I'm not gonna lie, but it sounds extremely cold. But then, as Isagi and Kaiser are going absolutely insane on the field, we get to someone who isn't that involved right now, which is of course NESS, who we can see is desperately running behind them to try and catch up. He has a scared and worried expression on his face as he thinks that he is no longer needed. He thinks back to Kaiser's heartbreaking words when he told NESS to give up on soccer. He then says that Isagi stole his Kaiser, which now NESS just sounds like an insane stalker. However, as he is running, it gets dark around him, and he wonders what he should do and if he also has to change. He thinks about when Kaiser called him a pig in this match. But he also thinks back to the first time that they met, which was like a blessing for NESS. Not to mention their academy time together, which NESS really treasures. He thinks about how Kaiser almost casted a spell on him in that tryout match. Anyway, right here we also see that some sort of aura is starting to once again form around NESS, which can only mean one thing, which is that he is getting back in the game. We then see that his aura is almost like fireballs, and we also see one ball with Kaiser in it, which is starting to disappear because NESS thinks that if Kaiser doesn't need him anymore, and if Kaiser would rather have a fresh start than to work with someone like NESS, then he will change too. He then says the heartbreaking words, which is a goodbye to Kaiser. His eyes then starts to absolutely fire up with determination and probably excitement, as he also says goodbye to the NESS, who believed that he would become the best in the world alongside Kaiser. And as he takes that step, his aura just starts to completely fire up, and it looks insanely cool as he now has abounded everything and is finally a player that can hopefully stand on his own, but it's too early to say, but I now have big hopes for him. Anyway, we then see both Hiyori and Karasu, who's in a bit of a duel with each other, as Hiyori tries to get around him, but Karasu is following him closely and even asks Hiyori if this is all that he's got. However, Hiyori fires back and says that it applies to Karasu as well, and tells him to just try and steal away the ball. After that, Hiyori's eyes switch to metavision mode as he looks over to Kaiser and Isagi, and thinks that they are now in his range, and that all that's left is to get the perfect timing. After that, we see Rin, who's frustrated as he's in the middle of both Kaiser and Isagi and is getting sandwiched to the max. Rin has then realized that if he covers one of them, then the other one will move ahead just like a seesaw, and says that he can only destroy one of them. He looks at both of them and says that he needs to gamble on who he wants to destroy. After that, Hiyori says now, and he stops the ball before passing a short pass to himself, which he is able to catch up to, and with that, get behind Karasu, who's just in pure awe by this. It also reminds me a bit of Chigiri's play in the first selection, but a lot smaller. Rin now knows that the attack is incoming and wonders if he should stop Isagi or the shitty Rose. But in reality, there's no need to think about it, as Rin obviously goes to destroy his long rival Isagi and completely bashes into him while saying that he is the one that Rin wants to annihilate. Isagi just calls him a beast and is a bit annoyed that he went for Isagi. Anyway, Hiyori got away with a killer cross, as we then see that he completely tricked Rin, as the ball isn't going to Isagi, but instead to Kaiser, who looks to be completely free right now. Kaiser's eyes are glued to the incoming ball and thinks that it's coming at a rapid speed. He gets out his furious predator eyes and just says, "Luck," but then the annoying demon comes in his way to unnecessarily prolong this game even more, as he comes in with his devilish wings and says that he saw him coming from a mile away and calls him a loser. Kaiser is just in shock by this, and Shido just looks like a maniac like always, as he says that if Rin didn't choose to go for him, then he knew that it meant that Shido was all free to go and hunt him down. After that, Kaiser tries to get the ball but he fails, and Shido heads away the ball and tells him that it was bad luck. Both Isagi and Kaiser looks like they have just frozen in place as they are following the bouncing ball to see where it goes. However, unfortunately, we see Charles making a run for the ball as he compliments both Rin and Shido. He then, just like Shido, looks completely insane as he tells them to go and for them to start another killer counter, wanting this game to finish in 2028. However, to stop that, we see Kunigami, who looks completely wild as he tells Charles that it's over yet and calls him a brat as he jumps and heads away the ball while saying that he is still here. Charles looks at him from above and is just in pure amazement that Kunigami was able to head it away. Kunigami then says that this just leaves it to fate as the ball soars high up into the sky. Isagi just looks at him and says, "Hero." Anyway, we see the ball being in the middle of the battle royale as everyone has their eyes on it. We see both Rin and Kaiser looking completely wild as they have lightning coming out of their eyes. And not to mention that we see Isagi starting to enter his god mode, which I'm sure is hyped for. However, as you are looking at this panel, you realize that Ness is nowhere to be seen, which is kind of weird, but they might be keeping him hidden for now, as instead of Ness, we see Yukimiya coming in from the sidelines to try and join the showdown. Anyway, the next chapter will be called A Birth of a New Hero, which, if you ask me, pretty much means that we will get a goal in the next chapter because everything is set up for it. The ball being in the air, Isagi entering God mode, and Ness getting his well-deserved awakening. Not to mention that the next chapter will be a massive 24-page chapter, which is huge for Blue Lock standards, so something has to happen in the next chapter. However, do you think that the final and much anticipated goal will come in the next chapter? And if you do, then who do you think will be the one to score it? Please leave it down below as I'm super interested in hearing about it. Anyway, if you like Blue Lock and videos like this, then I would highly suggest you subscribe to this channel, and while you are at it, leave a comment and a like, as it helps out with the algorithm a ton. And if you are curious to see another video of mine, then please watch the video that will be popping up on the screen now. Anyway, thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.